Hello. Hello, hello. How are you? You guys, today has been a day. It has been a day. Yeah, I think I'm talking to myself right now, so I'll give you guys a minute just in case anybody is coming in. While I wait, let's put on some lip balm here. The one that I had bought from the Vaseline brand, it worked really well. Like the regular one. I don't like the rose one. The rose one, the fragrance of the rose, it triggers something in my lips, and I hate the smell. The smell is too strong. But the regular one, it worked really good. I just lost it at the airport. But right now I'm using the Aquaphor version, and it is what it is. Good afternoon, Felicia. How are you? How are you? It has been a heck of a night. Oh my goodness. I went to bed last night right after we finished the members only live, at which I was falling asleep on. I don't know what was wrong with me, but I suddenly was just so tired. So I was like, okay, time to go lay down. So I did that. I went and I laid down, went straight to bed. And then you know what happened? As I was laying there and I was making sure that my alarms are turned on because I'm paranoid that I turned my alarms off for some reason, I realized the fan turned off. Because I'm in a dark room, so there's no other way for me to know that the power went out. But then the fan turned off. And I said, hmm. And then suddenly David came in the room. He said, the power's out. I said, great. It was storming. There was thunder. There was lightning. There was like 70 plus mile an hour winds. It was really ugly. And then suddenly I started seeing like the news and stuff. It was saying that there was a tornado that touched down in my area. And I'm like, okay. And apparently this tornado was not warned. Um, and then when it touched down, that's when all of the tornado sirens and everything started going off because I'm laying in bed and I'm hearing all of this chaos outside. And suddenly the tornado warning, whatever sirens start going off. I'm good, but I'm so sorry the storm came. Oh, thank you. It's okay. I mean, it is what it is. How's your dad? Is your dad feeling better? I'm sorry to hear what happened. I was like, whoa, I didn't know. That stinks. I'm sorry. Um, but I'm praying that he's feeling better because I mean, that can't feel good. Hurting your back hurts. I know that sounds stupid, but it's true. It hurts. And it's like a pain that you can't really control. And it's just sad. But I decided I needed a shot of coffee. So I have 2 shots of espresso here, but the foam is driving me nuts and I'm waiting for it to calm down. But it's just not calming down. And then I wait and then I'm like, it's separated and I don't like it. And I want it to hurry up. Um, but yeah, so as soon as David came in the room, he was like, the power's out. And I said, great. So I logged into my power company, whatever. And he's better. Okay, good. Just healing and happy to be home. Oh, I don't blame him. I would be so happy to be home too. Good for him. I'm glad he's home. I'm glad he's recovering. Because when you're even my age, it's scary to hurt your back. I can't even imagine when you're older how much more scary it is. And you only get one back. They can do surgeries, but it doesn't replace it. So that part stinks. Um, so yeah, David comes in and I realize that use a straw to drink the coffee, not the foam. Good point. Let me go grab a straw. And I'll tell you while I'm looking. So then I look and it says, because it's like, I don't know, 8:30 maybe. And then I look on the website and it says that they're aware of the power outage and they're anticipating it being resolved by midnight. And I said, oh my God, what am I going to do? My phone only had like 20% charge. And my phone is my alarm clock for work. And I was like, oh no. So we tried to go to sleep, but it was hot and humid. And so we ended up having to go to the guest room and sleep there for a while because the guest room, our bedroom, the windows. Hey, CJ, how are you? The bedroom windows, they don't have any telas in the windows. So we don't open them because who knows what vermin will come in. Um, so we had to come to our guest room because our guest room and this room both have telas in the window, and then my kitchen has telas, but the back side of my house has none. And that's because the owners who lived here previously, they had a big mean dog. Um, you've never heard one? I never heard one either until I moved here. And then suddenly I hear it and I'm like, what is that? I didn't know what it was. And people were like, are you stupid? It's the tornado siren. I was like, okay, maybe I'm stupid. I don't know, but they don't have those where I come from at all. We don't have stuff like that. And they surely don't go off. And it was going off. It goes off every Wednesday at 1 o'clock. And I'm like, that's like their test, right? I was like, how was I supposed to know? I'm not from a place who gets tornadoes like that. How would I know? And so, yeah, but people used to think, oh, you're in California, they don't do that. We don't get tornadoes there. Why would we have tornado sirens if there's no tornadoes? And there's no such thing as an earthquake siren because there's no predicting earthquakes. They just come. They just hit you. What would they be predicting? Can you imagine? Can you imagine if there was an earthquake? Oh my God, this smells so good. Can you imagine if there was an earthquake siren? That thing would be going off all day, every day. There's earthquakes every single day, all day, every night, all the time. And you often will, okay, this is the way I explain it for people who've never had an earthquake, who've never lived in an earthquake, or at least they're unaware that they've ever experienced an earthquake. It is like, when you're sitting in a room and there's a window right here, right next to you. And that window, you know how it vibrates when there's, like, say a semi that drives by. Say a semi drives by and they drive by really fast and they're very close to the window. You know that vibration that you get in the window? And then you'd think, was that an earthquake or was that a semi? And I've literally asked that out loud thousands of times. Was that an earthquake or was that a semi? Uh, that's the way it feels. Is that how it feels to you, Felicia? Hey, Sandra. Is that how it feels to you? That's how it feels to me. Or like when you're, okay, when you live upstairs, say you live upstairs or you're upstairs, and when, say there's a really like loud and clanky elevator that comes up, how it kind of shakes the ground, but you are aware that it's an elevator, right? So you're like, no big deal. It doesn't scare you. That's what it feels. You're like, was that an earthquake or was that a semi? Because you don't know. And sometimes it's one, sometimes it's the other. You have no idea. That's the way it feels to me, and apparently to Felicia too. So that's how I explain earthquakes to people. And people are like, no way, earthquakes are really scary. I'm like, but they're not. Like, there's no warning, so there's no anxiety, there's no fear around it because you're not, that there's earthquakes all the time, and you're not just living in constant fear that earthquakes are going to happen all day, every day, because you know that they're happening. But they're very rarely very large earthquakes that you can barely ever even feel them. Like, I'm old, so I remember the 1989 Loma Prieta earthquake. Felicia, I can't remember. How old are you? I know you're 30 something, but how old are you? Are you like much younger than me? Were you alive in 1989? I don't even know. If you were alive and old enough to remember it, which you probably don't. Well, I was in Northern California. You're in Southern California, so you probably don't remember it anyways. But they had their own. They had a Northridge earthquake. It's funny because I don't feel them anymore. But when my brother-in-law visits from Jersey, he freaks out because he feels them. You're probably feeling them, and you probably just are so used to it. You're just thinking, oh, it's a truck with loud windows or loud music. When they drive by with really loud music and it like shakes the window, same thing. Same thing. We have had earthquakes in Indiana before. It's not exactly. It's really difficult to tell. Is it an earthquake? Is it a semi? Like, it's not scary. Oh, you were born in 1992. Oh, then you don't remember. Oh, you guys had, I think, the Northridge earthquake in the later 90s. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm remembering that wrong. But the 1989 Loma Prieta earthquake was a very, very big and scary earthquake in San Francisco. And I have since realized that that is what caused my fear of heights and especially bridges, because when I was little, I seen it happen. I, lived through it. And then on the news, all you saw was the freeway coming down. The freeway was impacted so much by that earthquake. It was like a 6.9, 7 point something earthquake, and it knocked the bridge down. Like it has levels, like it had like, I think 4 levels. And I know it had more than two because there were people smashed in between. So it has to have more than 2 levels, right? So it came down, the base kind of sort of stayed up, but all the other ones came down on top of the bottom part of it, but they were still suspended in the air, right? And many, 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 many people died. They were still finding people weeks later. Um, there was, I think the one that they found the latest was like 2 weeks later, and he was still alive. Like living people were still being found weeks later. Like I don't even know how they were doing that. And that made me terrified of bridges. And I was always afraid that I was going to drive on a bridge and there would be an earthquake and it would come down. But that never happened. Still, I was afraid of it. And I recently realized that's what I was afraid of. Okay, Sandra, I'm curious. Have you tried the coffee? Do you like it? I just realized how much foam it throws, but I love it. I don't care. It's so good. All I did was put 2 shots of espresso in here, and it only had like this much water, right? And then I threw in some cinnamon, and then I just shook it up, and that's what I'm drinking. Because I'm gonna drink this protein shake. Well, it's not a protein shake, really. It's yogurt, but it's good. I like it, and it was on sale, so I got it. But yeah, that earthquake was scary. And what's unique about that earthquake is that it actually happened during an incredibly televised event. It was during the this one with the ball and the bat. What's it called? I forgot. Oh, this one. What's this one? What's it called? I forgot. The ball and the bat. The ball and the bat, like this. Here's my bat. What is it called? I forgot. Baseball, baseball, baseball. Yeah. Hold on. I'm gonna go ask David. What's the name of that thing? Because I can't remember now. Muffin, what's the name of the baseball, like the Super Bowl of the baseball?
World Series.
World Series. Thank you. It was during the World Series in San Francisco. It was happening at Candlestick Park. It was the A's, I think. I think it was the A's and the Giants. I think it was the Battle of the Bays. I don't remember. But yeah, the World Series. It happened during the World Series. It was like the very beginning of the World Series. It happened like at 5:16, 5:17, something like that, 5:12, something like that. So it was barely beginning. What made it horrible is because it happened at 5 o'clock. That's rush hour. So there was so many people out on the road. However, because of the World Series, most of the tourists that were there for the World Series. So they were all secluded in Candlestick Park, which did get some damage, but I don't remember there being deaths there. But I call him Muffin. I call Juan Muffin too, my little brother. I call everybody Muffin. Muffin. It's funny because I have a coworker. She's incredibly sweet. She's so kind. She's freaking gorgeous. This broad can be a model for real, for real. She's like freaking 10 feet tall. For reals, I think she's like 6 feet, I think. She's very, very, very gorgeous. Like you see her and she has like perfect skin. She has like this pretty, dirty blonde hair. She has beautiful brown eyes. She's just gorgeous. She's absolutely gorgeous. And she knows that I think that about her because I'm always telling her. And we got hired together, so we started together. And so I've known her for 7 years. And I'm always telling her, like, she's a supermodel. Like, in my head, she's a supermodel because she's freaking gorgeous. Like, seriously gorgeous. But she's super down to earth. Like, you know how when you meet, like, somebody who's, like, super gorgeous and they're sort of jerks because they know they're fine? This woman doesn't believe how fine she is. So she doesn't act like that. But she's so kind. She's so sweet. Well, anyways, her. So she also calls people Muffin. And it was so funny because she heard me talking to David one day because he came to drop something off and we were outside, like, I don't know, on a break or lunch or something. And he came to drop it off. And when he came, I said, oh, okay, thanks, Muffin. And she's like, Muffin? I'll never forget her face. Muffin? It's so funny. He must have been a baby when your oldest. Yeah, that is a baby. Amazonian goddess. Yes, she is. She really is. She's so, and her daughter looks just like her. Her son looks like her too, but he's still really young. But her daughter is, I think, a senior in high school this year. Freaking gorgeous. These two women, well, the daughter's still not a woman yet. She will be one day soon. I think she's like 16, maybe 17. Um, incredibly gorgeous, like incredibly gorgeous. Like I wish I could show you a picture of her right now. I have a picture, but I will not show it to you guys because I didn't ask her. She's freaking gorgeous. Anyways, Muffin. She calls everybody Muffin too, and it's so cute. And she like whenever we talk, we're like, "Hey, Muffin, how are you?" She's like, "Oh, Muffin." She's so cute. Oh, I love it. She's so cute. But anyways, so I'm laying in bed last night, trying to fall asleep, checking on my phone. I have my phone on. I'm checking on my phone, trying to set the alarm, and suddenly the electricity goes out. They're telling me they're anticipating it being up in like 4 to 5 hours, and I'm like, oh god, it's a long time. I'm hearing about all these tornadoes. I'm hearing about all the damage. I'm thinking in my head, if all this stuff is happening, it's probably not going to come on anytime soon. As I'm going through all of this stuff, David walks in. He was like, we need to put your meds away. We need to protect your meds. I didn't even get to that point yet. He was the one who walked in. We need to protect your meds. So the handy dandy notebook came into play, and we didn't take them out. Well, we took the meds out, but the ice packs are still in here. These ice walls are perfect because, and look at, they're still frozen. They're even, look, even icy sweat. I don't know if you can see that. Do you see that? And if they would have still been in here, they still would have been perfectly fine, but they're not in here no more. He put them away. But in here, it's still really cold. This guy has saved my butt twice because I have too many months of meds in the refrigerator to let them go. I was going to say go stale, but you know, it's not stale. You were 19. Oh, sweet. How old were you when you met your husband, Felicia? Yeah, those ice packs are bomb, dude. They're so bomb. I love them. Costco. I got that bag at you didn't ask, but I got that bag at Costco. It was like $40, I think. But I love that brand. We've tried different brands. We've tried different ones. They don't work the same. You were 23 when you met him. Also, you already had your. Wait a minute. Did you already have your son done? Now I'm confused. How old was your son when you got him? Oh, you already had him? Okay. Wait, I want to say that you had him since he was born, right? Or at least very, very, very infant still, right? Like, okay, so it was super hot. We're like dying. Then we have to come to the other room to go to sleep because it's too hot. So we open the windows over there. And then he was like, we need to get screens in our room. And I was like, yeah, we do. Because we prefer our bed, right? Like, it's fine to go over there and nap over there. That's what he's doing right now. He's napping over there because he doesn't like to sleep in our room when I'm not there. So he's in there taking a nap. And I'm over here like, I don't like this bed. I want my bed. And then when the lights came back on, he woke me up and I was sleepwalking to the other bed. I went back to the other bed. He made me go back to the other bed and I got no sleep. I got like no sleep. That's all the sleep I got. I could not go back to sleep after that. And it was like almost 1 o'clock in the morning. So I was like, I can't go back to sleep. So I got up and I came to work and I worked for like an hour and I was brain dead. Like I could not think. I couldn't like I didn't know what I was doing. I was just like, I'm sorry, Felicia. I know you have said that publicly before. So I didn't even think about it. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have repeated it, even though that's how I found out because you told me here in the comments. But still, I'm sorry. I didn't think about that. And I'm sorry. My brain hurts. So I got up, I came to work. I worked for like an hour and 15 minutes. I couldn't do it anymore. Luckily, it was really busy for us for them to be giving like time away. And so they told me I could take it off, and they did. I clocked out. I went back to bed. David was asleep in this room because he didn't want to be in our room without me. And so I went straight to bed. I didn't want to wake him up. I felt bad. And then I went to my bed and I fell asleep. And I slept until, I don't know, maybe noon. So I did get some sleep, but I didn't sleep I didn't sleep last night. So I couldn't work today. I couldn't do it. My brain was like, and then he woke me up. It was close to noon because I remember saying we have about an hour until I go live, and he was like, okay. And he wanted to go eat, and I was like, I guess we could go. I'm not hungry. I'll go with you though. I don't mind. Okay, good. Excuse me. Hold on, let me go grab cough medicine. There is no milk so before anybody starts telling me anything, there's no milk in here. Wait a minute, but I'm gonna drink a yogurt that has milk. You think that'll make me cough more? I don't know. So the power came back on, and David was like, oh, let's put your meds back. And he put them all away for me. I was like trying to sleep. I couldn't go back to sleep. I could not go back to sleep. And so, yeah, I didn't work. I call it sleepwalking. I wasn't sleepwalking. I don't think I really was sleepwalking. I call it sleepwalking when you are doing things dead tired. Like when you're so tired, you can't think straight, or straight out of waking up. You know how when sometimes you wake up like in the middle of the night, you got to go pee, or I don't know, you're freezing, so you need some socks or a blanket, or, like that, but you're still asleep and you start doing things while you're asleep. That's what I call sleepwalking. But I don't think I really sleepwalk. I don't think. My mom says I talk in my sleep. David says I talk in my sleep too. So I hate these things. Why? Why? Oops. So many kids so many kids need moms and can't get a mom that's special when you give it. Yes, I agree. She's very, very loving and sweet and caring and kind and adorable, and her son is amazing, and he has gorgeous hair. Gorgeous hair. Now, I'm not sharing pictures, but he has gorgeous hair. Just know that. He's a cutie pie, and her daughter looks just like her. Her husband had nothing to do with the creation of that daughter. She looks just like mama, in my opinion. In my opinion, she looks just like you. She looks nothing like him. It probably would, now that I'm thinking about it, it probably will make me too. Okay, I'm gonna put this away, and then I'm gonna get the lactose-free Nuri instead, because I'm not hungry, but I know. Okay, I'll explain it to you guys in a second, because I gotta talk about my new plan. Let me put this one away. I was keeping this one in my kitchen refrigerator. But since the Nuri is in my bedroom refrigerator, I gotta come over here. And I'll just put that over here. Okay. Oh, you know what else? I didn't take my inhaler today. Let me take it right now. Not not the rescue. I don't think I need the rescue. But even though the doctor told me that I should be doing the rescue every 4 to 6 hours every day until the cough is gone, but I don't want to. I don't like it. Gross. Really? Is it scary? Like when you wake up and you realize that you've sleptwalked, is it scary? I imagine it would be scary to like do things that you're like not fully aware of, like you're just doing it. I would be afraid. I tried to drink that chai green tea lemonade. Nope, nope, nope. I had to add oat lemonade and mango flavoring. Green tea by itself, the flavor, I don't like it. I drink it because now I like it, but when I first started drinking it, I don't like the flavor. It has like a bitter flavor. I don't like it. Um, so I imagine if you don't like green tea by itself, then you probably wouldn't like it. But hey, that's a really strong combination. That sounds good. My mini me, yeah, seriously, she looks just like you. She's so cute. It was not good. Then I added some sugar-free peach syrup. Now it's somewhat drinkable. Maybe you just don't like the flavor of just green tea by itself. There's nothing wrong with that. I drink, yeah, but sugar-free green tea still has sweetener in it to make it sweet. Regular green tea doesn't have sweetener in it, so it's bitter. Some people do like the flavor of that. I don't. Some people do. Well, I do now, but I didn't when I first started drinking it. I don't get very far. It is like a dream that you are acting out. When I realize what I'm doing, I pretend I was just to go to the bathroom, then I go back to. Wow, that's interesting. I don't think I genuinely sleepwalk. Should I call my mom and ask her? Let's call my mom and ask her because now I want to know. Let's call my mom. Oh, I have a bunch of text messages. Sorry, guys. I'll check them after.
Hello.
Hello, mother. What are you doing?
Cleaning up. What are you doing?
Oh, enjoy. Nothing. I'm wondering. I know you said that I talk in my sleep. Do I sleepwalk?
Not that I know of.
Okay. I figured if anybody would know, it was you. It would be you. Who else would know?
Oh, well, you probably get the talking from me.
You talk in your sleep too?
I do. Do we give out any good advice?
Well,
do we say any secrets?
Probably. We're probably telling the secret winning lottery numbers and everything. Yeah, maybe. Maybe
well,
so.
Hopefully not.
I hope not too.
I hope I'm not confessing everything I've ever done.
Hey, if you are, then you needed to get it out. So it's okay.
Well, I'm still married, so.
Well, there you go. Then at least you know that part didn't happen. He's not taking you seriously. That's good. But all right, Mom, that's all. I just wanted to ask you that. Okay, talk later. Bye. So not that she knows of. And my mother was the one I lived with the longest till I was 25. Kind of. We'll call it 22, right? Even though I was 25, but you know, the years that I had moved out and came back. It's no sugar at all. No sugar. But how is it sugar free if it has no sweetener? Why would they call it sugar free? Because naturally green tea doesn't have any sugar. Is it just like a gimmick to sell it so people know there's no, I don't know. That confuses me because green tea doesn't have sugar. So it would be, it's like calling, it's like calling, I don't know. Now I'm, that would be like calling, what, like a ginger tea sugar free because they didn't add sweetener, but naturally they don't have sweetener. I don't know. I'm confused by that. Oh, hey, JC, how are you? You would know if you did because you become aware that you, oh, really? Oh, okay. Well, then I don't. That's never happened to me. Oh my God, that's wild. I'm scared because what if I'm having a dream of fight? Right. What if you try to beat someone down? Mine has never gotten that bad. I don't have PTSD. Oh, I do. But I don't apparently sleepwalk. My sleepwalking is usually related to something that causes anxiety. Oh, that makes sense. Like something I didn't finish or need. That's a great point. That is no, I get it, Mia, that they just put it on there, but I assume that they put it on there either because it has a sugar substitute in it, so they are being, they're explaining, hey, yes, it's sweetened, but it is not real sugar, or is a sugar substitute, or they're just doing it as a marketing tactic, right? Like the way that the way that a lot of cheese now will say, protein cheese, and it's just cheese. It's the regular amount of protein that cheese has. So that makes me laugh. But I imagine that's what it is. Who knows? Who knows though? I don't know. I was just wondering out loud. Well, let's hope that this lactose free, ultra filtered thing doesn't give me extra phlegm. Did you hear that? That was loud. But remember how last night when we were doing the live, I told you guys that that it started raining and stuff and the storm was coming? I didn't realize it was coming right after. Like if I would have stayed on another, I don't know, 10 minutes, because it happened right when I got into bed. Because that's what the first thing I do as soon as I get covered is I check my phone to make sure my alarms are on. And as I'm doing that, that's when the power went out. So I literally walked from here to my bed. I got in my bed, put my blankets on, checked my phone, power went out. So yeah, the chocolate nuri is my favorite. The vanilla is good too. Strawberry is my least favorite. I wouldn't buy it again. I will drink it if I have it, but I won't buy it again. The chocolate is my favorite though. Oh, I forgot. Sandra, I was trying to remember how you told me you make your coffee. I know you said something about vanilla protein powder. That's all I remember. Which reminds me, did I miss it? Have you tried the coffee yet? Do you like it? You're working on earrings? Oh, how cute. Your earrings are so pretty. I love handmade things. Handmade things to me just, I don't know. There's something about them because you're putting so much physical energy into them and your creativity and like your imagination, I guess. Like your own, the way that you are imagining in your head, nobody else can imagine it. And you're putting that into a physical thing. Like that's so, I love stuff like that. I love stuff like that. I realize not everybody does, but I do. I love stuff like that. Okay, you guys. I didn't read the book. Stop being to say hello. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, Teeth. I was just about to say, usually we don't start the book part until an hour, but I completely forgot that this is a normal time in California because we do have some California baddies here. We have Felicia. Johnny's not here right now, unless she's here and just hasn't said anything. If you're here, Johnny, say hello or just put a period or something. But I would always like just keep that part till the second half or the 11 o'clock hour. So in California, it's 9 a.m. because I didn't want to be too early, right? Because I wanted to give my California baddies a chance to come over here. There, look, see, there she is. There she is. So, but I forgot that this is a later time, so I didn't even need to do that today. Hola, hola, amiga. How are you? Yep. Oh, 1/3 scoop of vanilla protein powder and 1 chocolate protein shake. I use either Fairlife or Nuri. I use 1 cup of cold brew. That sounds so flippin' bomb. When you told me, I was like, the only thing that would make it better, in my opinion, is cinnamon. Because I love cinnamon on everything. I love cinnamon. Wait, Felicia has a food video? Amiga, I don't get notifications. If you put a video out, you got to tell me because I will never see it. I'm so sorry. We will check it out today. But yeah, so we had a power outage. It sucked. I didn't sleep, so I didn't work. I did get up to go to work because I hadn't slept. I haven't read the book either. Like I'm listening. And no, it's okay. Trust me, Jen, if you're here, Jen's probably not here. She's probably asleep already. But in the morning when Jen's here, she comes just to be, she said, I just want to be nosy. she didn't read it either. That's okay because we're gonna read it together. But it's the last chapter. For those of you that don't know, we have been doing The Mountain Is You by Brianna Wiest. It is an incredible book. I absolutely love that book. I have read it multiple times. And then we just decided that that would be this book for this. Oh, V's going live right now too. Oh, sorry. Okay, well, go enjoy it. We'll see you later. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, the book. So the next book that we are going to do is going to be Myself and Felicia. Okay, so let me explain the way that my thought was when I came up with the book club, right? My original thought was we would do like self-help sort of books or like personal development sort of books, right? And I would find other creators who were interested in participating in that book for that period of time. And then we would do it together, right? So we would do a week here, a week on their channel, a week here, a week on their channel, throughout the book. And then the very last chapter of the book, we would go over together as a team or whatever, but we don't have to do it okay, so I'm going to go over the last book right now, or the last chapter right now, but we would be able to either the following week, discuss the overall book together. But that was my thought process, right? That was my plan. That didn't happen. So the last chapter was supposed to be done like a month ago by another channel. Didn't get done. I didn't know it didn't get done because I was brain dead that week and I was asleep and I didn't wake up for it. And then somebody told me it didn't get done. So I said, okay, well, then we're going to do it. So that's what we're here for. We're here for the last chapter of the book. So next book is going to be me and Felicia. Felicia Marie B right here, if you see her, right there. And her and I are going to do the Let Them by Mel Robbins. I know there's a lot of controversy with that book. We could either address it or we could not. I don't really care, but it is what you guys voted to do. So that is the book we're going to do. Let me find my Audible. So you guys can either get the book yourself and then read it as we're reading it together, right? Or you could just come because we will be going over the chapters together. We will either play them because with Let Them, I'm not sure if YouTube is going to let us play it. We're going to find out. With The Mountain Is You, they have not given me issue yet, but they might with Let Them. We'll see. And if that happens, we will just have to figure out another way to go about it, right? Oops. Let me pull this up. Okay. I want to pull up the whole book, not just, okay. So, yeah, and then we'll just go over it as the book is plain. If you guys have any thoughts on it, any commentary that you want to give, even if you've never read the book and this is the first time you're hearing it, or if you just, yes, there's a lot of controversy with that book. I mean, you didn't know? A lot. No, I do have notifications set up. YouTube just doesn't send them to me. Elle had made a post sharing one of my videos. She tagged me in it. When I seen the post, it was already 6 or 7 hours ago, and I hadn't been notified yet. It wasn't until the next day that it told me that you said on the thing, it said 56 minutes ago, somebody tagged you. It took like 12 hours for them to notify me. So I'm like, okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm down for it too. You guys voted for it. So that's the book we're going to do. And we could talk about the drama. We could not talk about the drama. That's fine. Either way, works for me. As long as you are getting some value out of it, I don't care if there's drama. So, are you guys ready? Are you guys ready for chapter 8? No, chapter 7, because we forgot that in the Audible, for some reason, The Mountain Is You is not labeled correctly. You didn't know there was drama? Oh, girl. None of you guys knew? Then we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it after this book. We'll go over it. But yeah, so you don't have to read it on your own, but you can if you want to. You can purchase it, either a physical copy or you can get the Audible. If you've never had Audible before, you can get a free trial of Audible and it will give you the book for free. And then you can always cancel. So you'll get that book for free. I know right now Audible is having a promotion. I think it's 3 months, $1 a month for the first 3 months. So you can get the book for $1. And then when you cancel your plan, make sure you use your credit first. You have to use your credit first, then cancel your plan. But that book remains no matter what, whether you're in it or not. I don't have an active Audible membership right now, but all the books that I've had, they're all still, they're mine. Like I own them forever. So long as Audible owns them to share them. So you have that option, but you don't have to pay a penny. You can also either go to your local library. Most libraries participate in digital media. So you can try, say, the Libby app. This is the Libby app. Is it focusing? There we go. This is the Libby app, and it is my local library app. And I have 3 different library cards, one for here in Fort Worth, one for in New York, and one for back home. And I could put all 3 of my library cards in there, and I can go through all 3 of those cities, like digital media. And then you could rent the book and you can listen to it there if you want, or you can just come and let us go over it with you. However you want to do it, that's fine. You don't have to spend any money. Don't think that you have to. But if you want to have the book yourself and read it on your own time and then come back and discuss it, you can do that too. If anyone wants to try Grün's vitamins, Target has a trial pack for $5. Ooh, that's cool. I know Mia used to use those. I don't think you use those anymore, do you, Mia? I'm not sure. You're trying some now with your protein shake. My cousin uses those ones, and she told me that they like cure her need for gummy candies. And I said, that sounds scary. Because if I was doing that, I would imagine that it would mean that I would eat them all. Because I love gummy candy. Okay, let me make sure that I don't have it going too fast. Okay, so this, I have it set to 1.3 speed. Let me know if it's too fast or if it's too loud or too low. I'll just play a quick moment of it just to gauge.
Chapter 7. From self-sabotage to self-mastery.
Is that too low? Is that too loud? Is that too fast? Or is that just not enough and you don't know yet? Let's try it again.
Chapter 7. From self-sabotage to self-mastery.
They have 6 grams of fiber. Ooh, that's good. Like some fiber supplements only have 4 grams of fiber. And I'm like, that's a little bit of fiber for so much money. Sound good? Okay, good. Sorry. There's a piece of like, I don't know. I guess the fact that I didn't sleep well last night, even though I got a couple hours this morning, just throwing me. I got off of work at 5:30 in the morning, and then I went to bed, but I didn't fall asleep until like 6, I think, maybe 6:30. And then, yes, I got like what, 5 hours? So that's pretty good for me.
Moving from self-sabotage to self-mastery sounds like an extraordinary transformation, when in reality, it is the natural course of coming to understand that you were responsible for holding your life back. And so you are also capable of moving it forward. Controlling your emotions versus suppressing them. The Buddhists believe that controlling the mind is the path to enlightenment. Enlightenment, by which they mean spontaneous and true happiness.
Yes, the author of Let Them
Have their success.
Sorry, shut up. The author is Mel Robbins. This is the cover for the Audible. let me share a link with you in case you want to look into getting the copy yourself. I don't know why this does that. I hate it. Stop doing that, YouTube. It doesn't even let me into my own lives. I have to send the link to myself and then open the link, and that will let me in. But otherwise, I cannot get in. Okay. Oops, I just closed the book. Okay. Let's open the book back up. Ugh, it doesn't even let me. Okay. Oh well. That's the link for the next book.
The idea is simple in theory and complex in practice. By both
Oops, just press the button.
Coming to understand that you were responsible for holding your life back, and so you are also capable of moving it forward. Controlling your emotions versus suppressing them. The Buddhists believe that controlling the mind is the path to enlightenment. Enlightenment, by which they mean spontaneous and true happiness. The idea is simple in theory and complex in practice. By both exploring our understanding of the mind and training it to behave in a certain way, we sort of purify ourselves to experience the essential nature of what we are, which is, as they believe, joy. If you've ever sat in a meditation class, you'll know that the first principle of mind control is the opposite of what you'd think. It's about letting go. To truly master the mind, the Buddhists practice non-attachment, in which they sit placidly, breathe steadily, and allow thoughts to rise up, cohere, and then pass. Their approach is that controlling the mind is actually a matter of surrendering to the mind, allowing it to behave as it pleases while regulating their reaction to it. How do you know if you're suppressing your emotions or controlling them? Emotional suppression is a regulation strategy that people use when they do not have adequate coping mechanisms for their feelings.
Me, that's what I do. I have suppressed my feelings so much for so long that I no longer recognize feelings. I don't know how to tell the difference between many, many emotions. Now I can tell the difference between like happy and overwhelmed, and I couldn't before. I thought they were the same thing. So I didn't like to get happy because I would get confused and think that the overwhelming feeling, it was what happy was. But now I could tell the difference. Let me see. I did this in therapy when I was in group therapy for like 8 hours a day. And this is a representation of my emotions. And they're so like, it's just a big blob of emotions because I couldn't tell the difference. Like, this is me, this is my brain, and this is my brain trying to tell the difference of all the emotions. But every color represents a different emotion. And then they're all just blobbed together because I couldn't tell the difference. And this little piece of white, that is me hopeful that I can tell the difference one day. One day I'll tell the difference. And I am able to now tell the difference between overwhelmed and happy, and I couldn't before, which is really weird. All right. Like when you think about it, most people would not have that issue, but I did. I not only have that emotion where I couldn't figure them out, I don't understand other emotions. Like I don't know the difference between anger and sadness. I don't know the difference between scared and pissed off. Like I don't know the difference, but I'm learning, trying to learn, trying to understand it. You meditate every day. That's great. What do you meditate on? Like, do you make it purposeful? Like, do you have somewhere to go? Like my idea with this window, do you see how it has like this right here? It's like seated too. My idea was I wanted to put like something on the bench part of it. And I wanted to be able to just come here and relax and sit in the window and just think about life and do my prayers here. And I wanted to do like all that stuff like right here. Never did it, but I wanted to. You know why I didn't do it? Because I was afraid that I would break the window. I was afraid that it would break under the weight of me. Will it? I don't know. but I was afraid of that. And that's why I never did it. But that was going to be my spot to do all that stuff. Prayer and meditation, I always reflect and bring myself closer to God. Good for you. Good for you.
The pattern is often this. The person denies or ignores their true reaction to a situation or experience, believes it will simply go away if they continue to disregard it, find that their day-to-day lives are somewhat disrupted by a sense of unease, and one day it all comes to a breaking point and they have an emotional outburst that they cannot control. Therapy generally aims to help patients no longer suppress how they feel. Instead, they are encouraged to recognize those emotions, but choose how they respond to them. In the healing process, suppressing and controlling can seem like a fine line. When someone cuts you off in traffic and you choose not to yell out your window, are you suppressing how you feel or controlling it? If your partner says yet another idiotic thing and you choose not to respond to it, are you suppressing how you feel or controlling it? If your coworker aggravates you consistently about a project and you choose not to say anything, are you suppressing how you feel or controlling it? Suppressing is unconscious. Controlling is conscious. Suppressed emotions function similarly to unconscious biases. One such type of bias is confirmation bias, wherein your brain sorts through stimuli to bring your attention to facts or experiences that support what you already believe. Though you're not aware of the bias, it's still affecting you. On the other hand, controlling your emotions involves becoming more conscious of how you feel. You are aware that you are angry, sad, or aggrieved, but you are choosing what you do about it. It is not really that you are controlling your emotions, but your behavior. When you are suppressing your emotions, you don't know how you feel, and your behavior seems out of control. When you're controlling your emotions, you do know how you feel, and your behavior seems within your control. The answer is that when you're in traffic, or in an argument, or dealing with a difficult coworker, you should be aware of how you feel, but still in control of how you respond. Emotions are temporary, but behaviors are permanent. You are always responsible for how you choose to act.
Do any of you guys have that problem too? It can't be just me, right? Like, it can't be just me. Can it? Can it be just me? Is it just me? Or does anybody else have that issue too? I feel like when I first heard that, it like really, really, really opened my eyes to the way that I have dealt with my emotions throughout my whole life. And it made me really disappointed in the response that I had. But the more that I looked into it and the longer that I looked at it, I began to realize I was just a kid when that started. I was very, very young. I didn't know who to turn to when I would be afraid or when things would happen. And if I ever turned to someone, I was always told pretty much like, just suck it up, just deal with it. It's life, or you're overreacting, or whatever, right? So I didn't know that I had a safe place to turn, right? So I made myself the safe place to turn, and that made me turn to food. But doing that, it made me really confused on what emotions were what and what was okay to feel and what wasn't okay to feel. So everything, good, bad, ugly, all turned into me not wanting to feel it. I would rather be, now I understand it as numb, but then I didn't understand it. Then I understood it as protected. I felt it was protected.
We often think that the measure of physical strength is how much weight we can bear, how long we can run, or how pronounced our muscles are. In reality, physical strength is a measure of how efficiently the body runs itself, how capable it is of effectively performing day-to-day tasks and occasional challenges when they arise. Mental health is the exact same way. It is not a measure of how happy we seem, how perfect things are, or how unconditionally positive we can be, but that we are able to move through day-to-day life and the occasional challenge with enough fluidity and reason that we aren't stifled or held back by ourselves. Amy Morin very famously disclosed some of the things that mentally strong people don't do. Identifying their habits and behaviors is essential, but what if you just aren't there yet? If you want to become a mentally strong person, this is where you begin. Learning to trust yourself again. Inner peace is the state of being connected to the deep internal knowing that everything is okay and always will be. The concept of finding one's inner peace has been part of spiritual and metaphysical practices for centuries, and has just recently become more mainstream with the development of popular psychology. Albert Camus once said, "In the midst of winter, I found there was, within me, an invincible summer." That sums up the entirety of what inner peace really is. The understanding that no matter what is happening around you, there is a place of total knowing and calmness within you. Not only are you capable of returning to that place when you need to, but it's possible to live your entire life from there. The challenge is learning how to connect with it in the first place, and learn to rewire how you respond to your monkey mind, which is always jumping from one worst case scenario to the next. You know when people reference knowing something deep down? They say things like, "I'm worried, but deep down I know it's going to be okay." Or, "I'm angry at him, but deep down I know he loves me." What do you think they are referencing? Where is deep down?
Where do you think deep down is? I don't know that I know. I feel like, to me, deep down really means because I've been told for so long. I want to believe that it's true, or because something similar, right? But I don't really know that I know. I'm just trying to convince myself, right? Like, I'm trying to convince myself. But is it really, hey, somebody's at my door? Okay.
They're talking about the place within them that has an infinite wisdom, a better understanding, and a more insightful perspective of what's going on. It isn't shaken by the stressors or fears that the mind wants to offer. So much of the process of finding inner peace is being able to get to that deep down place where you know and feel that ultimately everything will be okay. There's another metaphor in meditation in which calmness is compared to steadying a lake or a large body of water. Your thoughts and actions are like stones in the water. They create a ripple effect. The point of meditation is to make yourself quiet enough so that the water comes back to its natural stillness. You don't have to force the water to be still. It does it on its own when you stop interrupting it. The same goes for finding inner peace. It's not so much something you have to create as it is something you have to return to. Creating aligned goals. One of the most important parts of discovering your inner peace is that you trade in your desire for happiness. Unfortunately, happiness is fickle. It can lead you to being unhealthily attached to certain achievements, belongings, or specific circumstances. It can lead you to become dependent on other people's opinions or life unfolding in a particular way.
I blame coffee for this. Coffee makes me happy. I like being happy. Now, I didn't like it before, but I like it now, right? Now that I understand the difference between overwhelmed and happy, I like being happy. Coffee makes me happy. Hence my coffee shop addiction. But I don't want to put my happiness and my joy and my feeling good on a product. But I've subsequently done that. I didn't mean to. You guys make me happy. Hence why I spend so much time here. But as much as I love you guys, and as much as I absolutely appreciate every single moment that I spend with you guys, and all of your love and all of your support and all of your encouragement, I don't want my happiness to come only from you guys. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense.
Your goal is happiness. You will always find just behind it a lingering sense of unhappiness. That's how balance and duality works. Inner peace, however, that's the state in between the scales. When it's your goal, there's no way to lose. This is difficult for most people, and often people will continue to create stress, problems, and drama for themselves because their egos are still very much attached to thinking they need something external to make them feel good. This is the quintessential sign of someone who has not yet found their inner peace. They are searching, often frantically, for a sense of satisfaction, belonging, or worthiness outside of themselves. So really, it's not that happiness isn't a virtuous thing to which you should aspire, or that happiness isn't something you're ever allowed to feel. The reality is that inner peace is the true happiness, and everything else is just a false means of trying to convince yourself that you are okay. Think about it this way. What do you typically imagine will bring you happiness? Money? A relationship? Promotion? What happens when you achieve those things? Consistently, Throughout all of humankind, the answer is the same. You return to your baseline. This is because this kind of happiness is not real. It is only being completely at peace with whenever you are in any given day that you will find a genuine sense of wonder, presence, and joy. What drives us away from inner peace in the first place? With all this talk of how we have to come back to our place of inner peace, it brings up the question of why we ever got disconnected from it in the first place.
Ooh.
This is important because understanding why we lose it is fundamental to finding it again.
Yep.
When we grow up, we adapt to our environments. We adopt the beliefs and ideas of those around us. We alter our personalities so that we become safer. We believe the world can't hurt us. When we are children, we are more vulnerable than ever. And it's during this time that we pick up what can easily become lifelong coping mechanisms.
Ooh.
If we are not instructed from a young age to connect with our inner sense of peace, we will instinctively begin to trust the voice in our head. This is
Those of you who are parents, okay? I know Felicia's a mom. I know that, well, to young children. I know that Sandra's a mom to young children. CJ, I don't know. Do you have young children? Do you have any children? T, do you have young children? Mia, I know your kids are not young anymore. Trying to think who's here. Nicole, I don't know that you're here, but I know your son's an adult. Journey, you have young kids. Have you guys ever considered that? Have you ever thought about that? I'm going to play it again, just so you can hear it. I don't know. I feel like you need to hear it again. I feel like we need to hear it again. Not just you. I don't have kids, but not just you.
us. What drives us away from inner peace in the first place? With all this talk of how we have to come back to our place of inner peace, it brings up the question of why we ever got disconnected from it in the first place. This is important because understanding why we lose it is fundamental to finding it again. When we grow up, we adapt to our environments. We adopt the beliefs and ideas of those around us. We alter our personalities so that we become safer. We believe the world can't hurt us. When we are children, we are more vulnerable than ever. And it's during this time that we pick up what can easily become lifelong coping mechanisms.
That part. Okay. For those of you who are parents to young children, do you guys look at the way that you are teaching your children to respond to things as, something that they are going to hold for the rest of their life? If you look back on why you yourself are here in this position, right? Why you are on this journey in the first place. I would say that maybe at least 8 out of 10 of us all developed these coping skills as children, right? We developed our cope with food as children, our emotional attachment as children to food, our EDS. I'm trying to think of how to say it without YouTube saying bad girl. So we picked up EDS as kids, most of us, right? Some of us did do that as adults, but most of us picked it up as children. For those of you that are parents to young children, do you ever consider that? Like, how is it that I'm teaching them to interact with their own feelings, their own sense of peace, their own happiness, their own anger, their own whatever? They are going to likely hold on to that for the rest of their life. And that is the way that they are going to cope with it until they figure out if it was a bad way, they go to therapy and learn a new way. Or if it was a good way, they may never know. But do you guys ever think about that? Being a parent is such an incredible responsibility. I wish that I would have been able to have children, but on one hand, I'm glad I never did, because I don't know that I can handle that kind of responsibility for somebody else's lifelong coping skills. I didn't do a good job learning them for me, but for me to teach them to somebody else kind of scares me, and I'm kind of glad I never had that opportunity. But I don't fear it enough to not have desired it. I don't know if that makes sense. I have no idea. Does that make sense? Okay, you guys, I am not seeing, let me see, hold on, give me a second. Let me see. Okay, there. What happened to the volume? Oh.
The beliefs and ideas of those around us. We alter our personalities so that we become safer. We believe the world can't hurt us. When we are children, we are more vulnerable than ever. And it's
I am very conscious of not putting my issues. That right there is incredible. It is incredible. I am so incredibly proud of you for that. It's incredible because many of us got those negative attachments, positive attachments, all attachments from our parents, who got it from their parents, who got it from their parents, who got it from their parents. And nobody along the line ever understood that they were not good. They were not good emotional attachments or at all for us to have. And I'm so very incredibly proud of you for being able to be aware enough to do your best to not do that to them. That's incredible. I try to use neutral language so food doesn't become a coping mechanic for my kids. That is incredibly insightful. And I'm very proud of you because not a lot of people even realize that they're doing it, much less realize they're doing it and do their best to not do it. If that makes sense. But I'm so proud of you. Good job. In case nobody has told you lately, you are an amazing mother.
during this time that we pick up what can easily become lifelong coping mechanisms.
It is something I learned in my treatment. That is awesome. I'm glad that you sought treatment. Many of us don't. Many of us either don't want to believe that it's a real problem, so we don't seek treatment, or many of us believe that the GLP-1 is enough of a treatment. And I'm here to tell you it is not enough. It is not enough. This guy right here does a lot of things that I never imagined anything could help me do. However, this right here doesn't fix in here and the coping skills that I've learned in here. And one day, if this is taken away from me and my opportunity to hang out with the homie is done, how will I continue to move forward if I didn't do the work in here? I got to do the work in here. You got to do the work in here. If you're not doing the work in here, please stop listening to those people who are telling you that this does all the work. This isn't a magic wand, you guys. This doesn't do it all for you. If you do not believe me, go and look at some people who have stopped taking their GLP-1. They've gotten to their goal or they've gotten close to their goal and they've stopped taking it. And suddenly they begin gaining weight again. And as they sit there and talk about it and they reflect on it, they tell you it's because they didn't address in here. And if they don't tell you those words out loud, you can tell by the things that they are saying that it wasn't addressed in here. It was merely addressed in here. This isn't enough. This isn't enough. If you learn nothing else from me, understand that this isn't enough. Not when you have those kinds of attachments to food. If you don't have those kinds of attachments and your issue with your weight is completely a different reason, more power to you. This will be enough. If it's correcting those things that have gotten you to where you don't want to be, then this will be enough for you. But if your issues are in here, if you have an emotional attachment, if you have a coping skill that leans on food, if you have an ED of any sort, if you hinge, understand that this isn't enough. Please understand that. If I can tell you nothing else, this isn't enough. I wish it was. I truly wish it was. I really do. But it's not. You got to do the work in here. Ooh, Grace is on a walk, but she's listening. You haven't read the book, but it's my opinion. There's a universal feeling that no perfect manual or amount of preparation that can truly get you ready for the unique and unpredictable journey of parenting. No, I agree. Okay, I don't agree. There's one book, but we don't all read it and we don't all understand it. We don't all take the time to comprehend its meaning. But outside of that, being a parent is very, very difficult. I'm not even a parent, and I know that. It's a process of learning as you go, adapting every day and leading with love. And I agree to all of that. But it's also our responsibility to understand the bad things that we learned and try not to instill them in our children. And I'm not talking about just with food. I'm talking about anything, right? Like if we cope with anger by lashing out, some of us do. Me, I do. We need to address it within us so that we could not teach those things to our children because they're not healthy habits. To answer your earlier question, having both of my children in behavioral golly, I can't say that word. Behavioral therapy had helped with any behavior that arises. We can help them before anything starts. Felicia, that is very insightful. That is amazing. I'm very proud of you. That's so awesome. Thank you for doing that for your children. By the way, you are also an amazing mother, and so is Grace. I forgot Grace has small children too. Your Grace kids are really small though. Right? They're really small, right?
If we are not instructed from a young age to connect with our inner sense of peace, we will instinctively begin to trust the voice in our head. This is where we really get lost, because the thoughts that we have on any given day are largely the product of what the Buddhists would call the monkey mind, or as a neurologist could explain it, the process of different receptors firing off and making associations with things that may or may not have anything to do with reality. When we begin to trust our thoughts, we let them inform our feelings. This becomes a cycle and ultimately traps most people who aren't aware that it's happening. They have a weird or scary thought, have a subsequent strong feeling, and the combination of the two makes the situation feel real when it's actually a misunderstanding of your neurological process. Of course, that doesn't mean that our thoughts are useless.
And that makes me think like, okay, for people with PTSD, I don't know that CPTSD reacts the same, but it probably does. So with people with PTSD, when something triggers those emotions in us, it's like we're reliving that past moment all over again. And our body doesn't understand that it's not real. Our body doesn't understand that we're not in a state of survival in that moment. Like our body believes that it is. And in order to react to that fear, it responds the way that it does because it is in a survival moment, right? It's like in a survival mode. And that can lead to a lot of havoc for a lot of us because we don't know how to correct it. It's scary.
It just means that they are not always reflective of reality and should be used as more of suggestions than anything else.
And that's not
Why
easy.
can't people find their inner peace easily? The answer is that they can. Most people just aren't instructed on how to. But beyond that.
So Felicia says that yes, CPTSD does work like that, only with multiple triggers. Thank you. I didn't know that. I've heard I've heard of CPTSD, but I've never really looked into it much because nobody's ever asked me to. and since I've never been diagnosed with it, I've never thought to look into it. if somebody would have said, hey, do you know anything about this? Then I would have, you know me, I would have gone down that rabbit hole for a week, and it would have been the only thing I would have thought of. Yes, because my brother has an autistic child. Oh gosh, the camera. Sorry. My brother has an autistic child and had an offer to send him to a special school and have extra help and didn't do it. I'm very sorry to hear that. It's very scary to want to do that. I mean, you guys know that I don't have children, but you know that I helped raise my brother. And a lot of people don't understand the level of help that I did. My mother will tell you to this day that she feels like his grandma. She doesn't feel like his mom because I did the bulk of the work, right? And the moment the doctor told us the only way that he's going to learn to speak is to put him with other kids. You guys don't have other kids at home. He's the only child. Well, he might as well have been an only child because my brother and I were already 20 and he was a baby. And so they wanted us to put him in school. My mom didn't want to. She thought he was too young. She was afraid. But we thought, well, I thought, I don't know how to deal with this. And I don't know how to teach him to speak. If it's a natural response by being around other small children, that's going to come naturally from those other children. Why not do that for him? Why not give him every single opportunity to thrive as we can possibly do? And I know it's not easy. I know it's not. I know it's scary. I know it's like you want to protect them the best that you can, and you feel like I can't protect them there. But we also can't protect them at home. I don't know if that makes sense. But I am very sorry to hear that, Mia. I wish that it would be an easier decision for people. And I wish that there wasn't so much fear involved with doing these things for the benefit of our children. I'm sorry. Which is none of my business really, but but it is your business because you love them. So it's your business. You may not have any say in it, like in the long run, but it is your business. I understand what like it's going to affect you. You're going to hurt from it. You're going to be affected by it. So that makes it your business. However, I understand that it's not your decision to make ultimately, but still. But I wish my nephew had a chance to have a regular life, and I'm told that they just plan to take care. I'm sorry. I'm sorry because it hurts my feelings to hear things like that, because eventually your kids, what's going to happen when your kids outlive you? What are they going to do? There has to be another plan in place. And there are going to be some children who will never be able to do that on their own. And that's one thing. But some can. And our fear for them just doesn't allow it to happen. And that's not fair to them. I don't know that it's easy to tell the difference between one that can benefit and do things like that on their own and others that can't. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that there is an easy definable line, right? Like this is the line, and if your child's on this side, then push them to do things more so on their own. If your child's on this side, they're going to need caretaker for the rest of their life. I don't know that there is a true defining moment or instinct or personality or what have you. But for those that can do things on their own, I hope that the parents are able to do that for them. I do. That just makes me sad.
Most people are actually too scared to go into their own feeling states because their inner child is too traumatized. Everyone has an inner child. It is the part of you that is most innocent and pure, and it never goes away. Over time, it is your responsibility for you to learn how to parent this inner child, who will honestly be the one to push you away from your inner peace. They will be the one to throw a tantrum and tell you that everything is falling apart and that you're going to die and that you should just give up. In the same way that you wouldn't let a child run your waking life now, you can't always believe what your inner child is afraid of. You can, however, learn to work with them, heal them, and make them feel safe.
Like me, I'm going to use myself for an example. I have PTSD around onset sounds. You guys have seen my reaction before. It's not fun. But the reality is that I'm probably not in true danger all the time, even though my brain thinks that I am. And I need to learn that the likelihood of that happening to me is very minimal. Isn't a chance? Yeah. Nothing is promised that it's never going to happen to me. But living in that fear for 44 years hasn't happened. So it's the likelihood that it's going to happen to a day. But it's not easy. It's not easy to understand that inside, like wherever that memory or that fear lives inside of me. I don't know. I don't know that I can ever like truly remove that from my life. I don't know. I hope that I can. But I'm sure that there are many of you guys who also have similar triggers and similar issues and similar fears. I mean, probably not why I have mine, but probably very similar. But it's not going to stop me from continuing to try. It's not going to stop me from continuing to address it, no matter if I believe that it really could be healed from that permanently or not. I don't want to not try. Does that make sense? I don't want to not try.
In the way any good parent would. Stephen Diamond explains it like this. To begin with, the inner child is real. Not literally, nor physically, but figuratively, metaphorically real. It is, like complexes in general, a psychological or phenomenological reality, and an extraordinarily powerful one at that. He argues that mental disorders and destructive behavior patterns are usually more or less related to unconscious parts of ourselves, and were most often adopted in early life. Finding your own peace. Finding inner peace isn't always so much about just sitting in the lotus position until wisdom becomes you. It's about making the uncomfortable decision to stay with your discomfort and to choose differently regardless. As Gail Brenner explains, the inner war is perpetuated by resistance. That is, not wanting to feel the way we feel, not wanting people to do what they are doing, not wanting events to occur as they are occurring. Resistance wants to rewrite our personal histories and ensure that our plans materialize. She argues that inner peace is the only kind that exists because nothing else is in our control. Another really amazing way.
Did you hear that? Wow, that's salty. Did you hear that? Let me rewind that. I don't know if I believe this, but I don't know if I don't believe it.
By resistance. That is, not wanting to feel the way we feel, not wanting people to do what they are doing, not wanting events to occur as they are occurring. Resistance wants to rewrite our personal histories and ensure that our plans materialize. She argues that inner peace is the only kind that exists because nothing else is in our control.
Did you hear that? Now, do I believe that? Probably. The only thing that we control is how we respond to our emotions. And even then, sometimes we don't feel like we're in control of it. But we don't control the outside world. We don't control how other people treat us. We don't control, the driver next to us. We don't, like, when you tell people, be careful when they drive or whatever, and they're like, I'm a good driver. What are you trying to say? Do you not trust me? First of all, it's not you that I don't trust. But you can't control the other drivers. Accidents happen every day. That's why they're called accidents. And you could be the best driver on the planet. If somebody else is out of control and they are within your proximity, that puts you at risk. So it's not about not being able to control or trust you. It's about you have no control over other people.
Another really amazing way to find your inner peace is to constantly remind yourself that your worries are a fabrication of your mind's need to identify potential threats to survival, and your true happiness is being here in the moment. If that's hard to believe,
Nicole is on timeout. Put her in the corner. She's late. Just kidding. Don't worry about it. You're here now. My dad always, whatever someone feels about you is not your business. Exactly. What somebody thinks about me, the way other people feel about me, there ain't jack I could do about it. So why am I so triggered by it? Responsive to it? Nicole, normally I charge extra for spankings, but for you, you'll get all of them today.
make a list of the following. Everything you have intensely worried about in your life. Go back as many years as you can and be as detailed as you can.
For those of you who read the book and have gotten past this last chapter, did you do this? I tried to do it. I sat there for like 6 hours because it was while I was working, right? And it was a slow day. So I just had which is why I went to go get my book. I just had my book. Oh, wait, this isn't the right one. No, it is. Okay. So I just had my book and I was sitting here and I was writing it all down. I didn't get past that incident, but I think it's a work in progress and I'm going to keep doing that over and over and over until I can get past it, because it's not easy. It's not easy to put all those things down. It's not easy to remember them all. But did you guys try it? Did anybody do it? I wondered if any of you got through to today, right? Like if you started as young as you possibly had the memories of to today, did any of you do that? Were any of you able to get that far?
Every difficult situation you swore you would never get through or never get over. Every time.
How many times as a kid or even a teen or whatever, where you said, oh, you're so much, it was in so much pain, it hurt so bad, you just want to die. Kill me now. I'm never going to survive this. But yeah, here you are, having survived it. In the moment, it doesn't feel like you could survive it, but in the aftermath, you're like, okay, here I am still. I did it, and I realized I have a lot of gaps in my memory. That's why I couldn't get past it, because once I got to a couple things, I couldn't remember other things. And I was like, wait a minute. Or I thought, wait, did that really happen? Or am I imagining it? So I had to do a lot of phone calls. Like, did this really happen? And the response was almost always yes. Not always. I mean, that's okay if you didn't do it. I mean, I know it's very, very difficult to do. I know it's not easy. It's not an easy exercise to do. But I was curious if any of you had been able to go from that young to now. But I think, like Felicia, many of us are going to find that we have a lot of gaps. And that's okay. That's okay. Like I tell David every time he does tests, I tell him, skip the part where you question it and you're not sure. Keep going. Just get on to the next one and then come back to that part. Maybe that'll help trigger that part of your memory. Don't know if it will, but you never know.
You have genuinely felt happy and at peace. Guaranteed, your responses to the first will bring a smile to your face, in that they will remind you that you have worried constantly in your life, and yet they were all unfounded. Often, the things you are worried about most were actually the things that were going to turn out the best. By the nature of duality, the very virtue of experiencing fear of them means you also experienced love from them.
Felicia says that's good advice. Felicia, just so you know, that's how I live my life. Every test that I do, and I am always the one who's done first. If I ever have to do a test and there's many people doing that test, I don't care what the time limit is. I will always be the first person done. I don't know why, but it always happens. And the one thing that I do is I'll read the question. If I don't immediately know the answer, I'll skip it, go to the next one. And then I'll go to the next one. And every single one where I don't immediately know the answer, I will go to the next one and go to the next one and go to the next one. And then when I'm done, I come back to the top. And a lot of times that answer it's suddenly there, right? So if it's there, great, write it down. Go to the next one. Keep doing that over and over and over until eventually you have none left, or you have no answers left, and then you just pick, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, eeny, miny, miny, mo, or eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Yeah. And then eventually you'll get it all done. But you'll know for a fact that you're not questioning anything because you knew the answer right away. And if you didn't, move on to the next one. That's the way I do tests. And that's always worked for me. And I've passed every test I've ever had to take. So, hey, Michelle. Exactly, like a broken heart. Your first love that hurt you, left you, whatever you, and you didn't think you would ever love again. Many of us have been able to continue to love. Oh God, Nicole. I am so sorry. It triggered a bad mic. I wonder what it was. I know a lot of people are triggered by migraines or triggered. Wait, migraines are triggered by eating chocolate. Chocolate doesn't trigger me, thank God, because I love chocolate. Yeah, I'm so sorry, Nicole. That's terrible. Oh, gosh. My CPAP machine triggers horrible migraines because it squeezes my head. And I hate it. And I don't like it. That's why I can't wear headbands. That's why the one that I wear even to wash my face, I have to take it off when I'm halfway. Like as soon as I'm done rinsing my face and patting it dry, I take it off because I've noticed that it gives me headaches, and headaches lead to migraines for me.
Your response to the second will also be relieving because it will show you just how much pain you thought was insurmountable in your life and how, in retrospect, you don't really ever think about those things anymore.
Wait a minute, Felicia. The smell of cinnamon gives me migraines. Do you mean when you smell it out the like that gives you migraine? Or is it like the synthetic smell, like in candles and stuff? Or is it cinnamon altogether? Like you can't eat it because it triggers. If you cannot eat my heart, I'm so sorry. Canela is the best flavor on the planet, and I would be heartbroken if I couldn't eat it. And I'm so sorry that you deal with that. But I'm curious what it is. Is it the smell itself, or is it the actual? Girl, I smell it all the time. Didn't you see me going like this? It smells so good because I can smell the cinnamon in here. I smell it all the time. I mean, I don't snort it, but I do smell it. I love it. Synthetic, okay. Oh, I'm so happy for you because I was really, really, really sad thinking canela for real me. Oh, I'm sorry. Synthetic, I get because it's perfumes that do that to me, and certain scents are stronger. And I feel like canela is one of those scents that is just so strong that it's overwhelming, gives me migraines, which is why I no longer wear perfume or scented creams because they hurt my head.
Finally.
Oh, fun fact is, has nothing to do with the book. It has nothing to do with nothing. But since we're talking about migraines, you guys, I have not had a migraine at all in this month. We are on day 25. I have had some severe headaches, but I have not had a. Last night, though, I don't know if it was because of all the lack of sleep or what. I was having aura like a mofo. If you don't know what aura is, some people with migraines have a sensation where their vision is affected. So they see like spots, or they see like zigzags, or they see like a kaleidoscope sort of image, or they get double vision, like their vision is affected. And that 9 times out of 10 is going to be the beginning of a migraine. And that happened to me last night. That's not the first time that's happened to me this month. I've maybe had 4 or 5 different events this month of the aura, but I have not yet had a true migraine. Praise Jesus. Thank you, God, because you guys know I was dealing with them pretty much daily for a very long time. And I'm so grateful. Hey, Turtle Diaries. That's the first time I've ever called you that. Hi, sweetie. Hello, welcome, one of my California buddies. There's 3 of you that I know of. Hello. We're just going over the chapter 8, but I keep interrupting. So this 45-minute long chapter is going to last 6 hours.
Your answers to the last question will remind you that your happiness has never come from things being perfect on the outside,
Ooh.
but from you being present and open and connected to yourself and to the moment. Detaching from worrying. In the same way that it's easy to be.
Do you guys hear that? Do you guys hear that? That is the thunder rumbling in the sky. That is very loud. I don't know why I opened the curtain, or the blinds.
Become addicted to substances or behaviors that allow us to avoid the present moment. Worrying is chief among the coping mechanisms people use to distract themselves from what really matters. Over time, you have begun to convince yourself that worrying equals being safe. You think that by running worst-case scenarios through your head again and again, you will be better prepared for them. This is completely false. Not only are you draining your energy, imagining situations that are very often completely manufactured, but when you are already hypersensitive to any one of these fears or ideas, you will actually create those circumstances simply out of your avoidance or over-responsiveness to them.
Have any of you ever done that? One instance that I can remember is I was making bacon one day when I was getting ready to move from California. I was still home, and it was just like me by myself at home, and I was hungry, and I was like, I'm gonna make some bacon. And all I kept thinking, I don't know why, but all I kept thinking about was being so afraid that I was gonna get burnt by the bacon, by the backsplash, or whatever it's called. Splashback, backsplash, whatever. And I was like so afraid that I was going to get splashed by the bacon. I was on the phone with my mom, and I was telling her like, oh, I don't know why. Like, I had so much fear of the splash that day, but I just didn't care, and I was going to eat it because I didn't have a lot of food at home because, I was moving. I was going to be gone like in 2 days. So I didn't like keep buying food, right? So I only had bacon, and I was like, ooh, bacon. And then my mom's like, stop doing that. You're going to end up getting burnt by the bacon, and it's going to be your own fault because you're making it happen. And I'm like, I never understood why that could possibly be. And I did get hit by the bacon. It hit me in the eye, and my eyeball was very affected for a long time. And all I could think about was I did it to myself by being so overly concerned about it. And I don't know why that is, but yeah. I know, long time no see, sweet tea. Weren't you just there last night? Hello again. Yeah, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, but that hurt. To this day, it's still, I still remember it. That was 8 years ago, almost. Because that happened in March of 2018, before I left.
You have to remember that among all the things to know about the monkey mind, your head wants to constantly seek out situations and experiences that will affirm itself.
Mm-hmm.
If you believe something will be good, it will be.
Mm-hmm.
It might not look exactly how you imagined, but the outcome will be exactly what you expect. Finding your inner peace is just connecting to your deepest wisdom. It's not something you have to create, justify, imagine, or reach for. It's always within you. It's always an option, and it's constantly a choice. You just have to make it.
Ooh.
Remembering that your feelings are not always facts. The most challenging part of all of this is arriving at a place where you can discern between which feelings are instinctive and informative and which are rooted in fear and ego. In a world that constantly tells you that your gut knows everything and that your feelings are real and that, hell, if you reach in deep enough, you'll uncover a well of wisdom that can guide you, it can be really easy to assume that every feeling and idea we have is not only real, but is somehow forecasting what's going to happen in the future. Your feelings aren't predictions.
Nope.
They are not fortune-telling mechanisms.
Nope.
They are only reflecting back to you what your current state of mind is.
Like I always tell you guys, your feelings are valid even if they're not fact. They could be the biggest made-up lie on the planet. They're still valid, but they're not fact. Not always, anyways.
It's like having a nightmare. The monsters aren't real, but they could be metaphors for something you're
But they surely feel real. Nightmares suck. I hate them.
Worried about in your waking life. What holds so many people back from finding their inner peace is the fact that they can't tell the difference between which is correct, their fear or their peaceful feeling. Remember this, the feeling of peace is the one telling you the truth. Your feelings aren't here to tell you what's going to happen. They're only here to inform you of where you are energetically and mentally and how you should respond to what happens around you. Fear is trying to scare you into staying small and keeping safe. It is a mortal, limited thing. The feeling of peace is trying to remind you that everything will be okay, because it always is, and always will be, no matter what. Becoming mentally strong. No matter who you are or what your purpose is in life, mental strength is going to be a key component in ensuring that you actualize all of the potential latent within you. Mental strength is not a fixed trait. It's not something we inherently have or don't.
Have any of you guys ever considered this? Your brain is an organ that is a muscle. That if you don't work on your brain and your, life experiences and your knowledge and your, if you don't constantly learn things, then you're not exercising that muscle in here. And it atrophies just the same way that any other muscle in your body would do if you're not using it. Like if you don't walk for a long time, your muscles and your legs start to atrophy. Atrophy means shrink, in case you didn't know. I didn't know what that was until I learned it in school. I learned it when I became a medical assistant. But it if we don't exercise this muscle, it shrinks too.
Ironically, it's not necessarily easier to have it if you aren't.
Yes, I want to have a buff brain. Yeah, we all want to have buff brains. I've learned that in therapy. Not every feeling I feel is 100% true. Exactly. They're not always fact. In fact, they're usually not fact, but they are valid. You're experiencing that feeling, and nobody could tell you that you're not experiencing that feeling, even if the fear that you have isn't real. There's no way that that's going to happen to you. At least not in this moment. It might happen to you one day, but it ain't going to happen right now. So I get that. It's scary. You didn't know that? You didn't know that your brain could shrink? Yeah. I forgot what they call it. There's a medical term for it, but I don't remember what it is. It kind of it dies off.
Faced with many challenges in life. In fact, it is often people who are in the most difficult circumstances that are forced to develop the highest degrees of mental strength. Being mentally strong is a process, and it is a practice. This is where you can begin. Get a plan, because plans fix problems.
Yep.
Mentally strong people are planners.
See, and that's why I'm always telling you guys, my heart of hearts says you need a goal. You have to have a goal, because you cannot hit a goal you do not have or cannot see. Does that goal have to be, my goal? No. Does that goal have to be a number on the scale? No. Do you need to have a goal? Yes. Whatever that goal is, there still needs to be one. But it doesn't have to be the same as everybody else's. It doesn't have to be, XYZ. It just has to be. And that goal could be, I don't want to worry about this anymore. And once you stop worrying, you hit your goal.
They think ahead. They prepare. They do what's best for the long-term outcome.
You know what's funny? I have her speed up to 1.3%. So you're hearing her voice, but she kind of sounds like a chipmunk because I have it going so fast. I heard about your NAD decreasing. Me? When I have a brain fart, my husband tells me, oh, your brain is getting smooth. The audacity of a smooth brain. We don't want a smooth brain, you guys. You guys want ripply brain. I love that. Mentally strong people are planners. Yes, we plan. Not necessarily plan for all the bad stuff, because we could do that too. We don't want to do that, but we want to plan ahead.
You might think that this disconnects them from the moment, but the opposite is true. Worrying disconnects you from the moment. Overthinking disconnects you from the moment. When you are consistently sidelined from your own anxiety, it's because you don't have a plan regarding the thing that's making you scared. Think about something you aren't scared of. Do you know why you aren't scared of it? Because you have a plan for what you'd do if it were to happen. So you're able to let go and be present. Whether it's becoming financially healthy, improving your relationships, going to therapy, getting a new job, or pursuing a new career path or dream. If you don't have a plan, you're going to keep having a problem. Humble yourself, because it's not all about you. It seems like everyone is thinking about you, judging you, evaluating you, and determining your status in life. They aren't. Social media has likened us all to mini celebrities in our own circles. We become convinced that everyone around us is disproportionately concerned with the minutiae of our lives. In a number of decades, you will be gone. Your home will be sold to a new family. Your job will be taken by someone else. Your kids will be adults. Your work will be done. This isn't supposed to depress you. It is supposed to liberate you. Nobody is thinking about you in the way that you think they are thinking about you. They are only thinking of themselves. When you feel self-conscious for going grocery shopping in your sweatpants, please know that nobody cares and nobody is looking. When you feel anxious about your accomplishments or lack thereof, please know that for the most part, nobody cares and nobody is looking. This is true of absolutely everything in life. Nobody is evaluating you the way you are evaluating you. They mostly take you at face value. Stop thinking that you're the sun that everyone revolves around. This world is not all about you. Your life isn't even all about you. The more you can put aside your spotlight complex, the more you're going to be able to relax. Ask for help, because you're not supposed to know everything. We live in a specialized society. People go to school. They apprentice and train to become very skilled at one task. They then market and sell this task in exchange for purchasing other people's expertise. You are not supposed to know everything. You are not supposed to be a financial expert. That's why you can hire one to do your taxes or advise your investing. You are not supposed to be a master chef. That's why you can buy a cookbook or ask your mother for help. You are not supposed to be a world-class trainer. That's why you...
Exactly. I'm 44 years old. You would think that I would know how to make whatever, right? Like whatever, sopa, whatever. I still call my mom. I still say, hey, mom, I want to make, I don't know, arroz con leche. How do I do it? It's just rice, milk, and water and cinnamon, some sort of sweetener. But I still call my mom. There's nothing wrong with asking for help, you guys. Nothing wrong with it.
You can book an appointment with one and learn. You are not supposed to understand the complexities of mental health and neuropsychology. That's why you can visit with a psychotherapist and learn how to get better. You are not supposed to know everything. You're not supposed to be good at everything. This is why you have people whom you can hire or learn from.
Exactly.
Cut yourself some slack and focus on what you are proficient in. Outsource everything else. Know what you don't know and stop false dichotomous thinking. The main reason that people sustain anxiety is due to long-term thinking in either ors, otherwise known as false dichotomies. This is a cognitive distortion in which you eschew an entire field of possibilities in favor of one or two polarized outcomes, neither of which are likely or reasonable. If I lose my job, I am a failure. False. If this relationship ends, I'll never find love again. False. If this scary thing happens, I won't be able to go on. False. Anxiety is caused by logical lapses, where there's a breach in your reasoning skills. You jump from one event to an unlikely conclusion, and because it makes you feel something strongly, you assume it to be true. Ultimately, you start thinking in dichotomies, which are not only ineffective, but also spook you so much that you are rendered incapable of actually handling your life. Stop trying to be psychic, because this is a cognitive distortion. Given that our most fundamental human fear is of the unknown, it makes sense that we go through mental gymnastics to try to predict certain outcomes in our lives. However, psychic thinking, or the idea that your feelings are premonitions, that you can just know what the future will hold, or that your fate is somewhere set in stone for you, makes you mentally weak. It places you in the passenger's seat when you need to be behind the wheel. When you are engaging in psychic thinking, you're extrapolating. You're taking a single feeling or experience and making a long-term prediction about your life based on it. It is not only false, but often becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Stop trying to predict what you can't know and
Normally no, Felicia, but this pen, for some reason, even though it's completely full. Come on, focus. Can you see that? It's completely full. Come on. But for some reason it won't write, so I'm trying to prime it to get the ink flowing, and then once the ink flows, then it should correct it. But I don't know why it won't prime.
Start putting your energy toward building what you can know. You and your life will be better for it. Take responsibility for your outcomes. Yes, all of them. In the grand scheme of your life, the outcomes that really matter and that research shows genuinely create long-term happiness are the ones that are almost completely within your control. It's easier and less scary to pretend as though you are simply a cog in the wheel, but you're not. If you actually put your energy toward learning to be productive, taking care of your health and wellness.
Oh, Nicole loves her Fitbit thing. Wait, it's a Fitbit, right? The Versa? Yeah, Fitbit. Yeah, Nicole loves her Fitbit. It measures lots of stuff, like sleep. But I don't know how you can leave it on while you sleep. That would bother me.
Improving your relationships and self-awareness. You'd have a radically different life experience. Every single one of those things is within your ability to change.
Exactly, Michelle. Exactly. There's nothing like a professionally done set of nails, right? I mean, except there's these things that are awesome and I'm still scared to try them, but I'm going to try them and they're perfection if you apply them right. But they still take talent. Sandra, you're very talented. So I'm so scared of this thing.
Or at least influence greatly. There are some things in life that are outside of your control. If you focus on them, you will miss something really important. The majority of your life, which is the direct result of your actions, behaviors, and choices. Learn how to feel better by processing complex emotions. You are not supposed to feel happy all of the time. Trying to feel happy all of the time is not the solution, it's the problem.
Yep.
Instead of the ability to sustain positivity at all times, mental strength requires that you develop the ability to process complex emotions such as grief, rage, sadness, anxiety, or fear. When you do not know how to allow these feelings to pass through you, how to make sense of them, learn from them, or simply just allow them, you get stuck on them.
Yep.
You bury them, and then everything around you becomes a trigger that threatens to unleash the floodgates. You might think it's about keeping a stiff upper lip, but it's not. It's about crying when life is sad, being angry in the face of injustice, and being determined to create a solution when a problem arises. That responsiveness, instead of reactiveness, defines mental strength.
For real, Nicole, I could never do that. That sounds really cute, Michelle. I could not do that. I don't like anything on me 24 hours a day. I do like things on like during the day and stuff, but to sleep, I can't do it. Like, I don't know how people wear necklaces to sleep. I don't know how people wear earrings. The only things that I keep on all the time are these because I can't take them out.
Forget what happened and focus on how you will make it right. Reflect on what went wrong. Learn from what went wrong and figure out how you're either going to make up for it or change the outcome in the future. Then let it go. The only time you're going to really hold on to the past is when you haven't fully learned from the past. When you have, you can apply those lessons to the present moment and create what you wanted to experience then.
Mm-hmm.
Focusing on what happened disproportionately to what's happening now or what you want to happen in the future is what keeps you completely stuck in life. If you feel as though you truly failed yourself in some profound way, it becomes even more crucial that you move on and create the experience you desire now. Your life is not over. You did not fail indefinitely, but you will if you never let go and try again. Talk it out, because things are often more complicated in your head. If you feel really tangled up in your thoughts, feelings, and fears, talk to someone, perhaps a mental health professional or a trusted friend.
Yep.
If nobody is around, talk to yourself. Talk out your ideas as though you are speaking to someone else in front of you.
Yep.
Sometimes we need an objective third party to help us sort through complicated parts of life. Keeping it all buried in your head and heart often makes it worse. Letting it out into the open tends to simplify the problem, release the emotion, and help you move on. Take your time, because
That's great advice. It is great advice to address it with a impartial third party more often than you address it with basically an echo chamber. You don't want to constantly only discuss issues that you're struggling with somebody who is just a yes man. You need an outside opinion to correct whatever incorrect thinking you have, right? And if you're only talking to people who only tell you what you want to hear, how will that ever happen? Because It's just solidifying that you think that you're right, and that negative emotion is never going to go anywhere. It's going to stay there forever because you're right to feel that way. And you're right to feel any way that you want to, but if you want to correct it so that you don't always feel negatively about whatever that feeling is, or, you know, circumstance is, you can't do that if all you're ever hearing is, yeah, you're right. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense.
Is you don't need to figure everything out right now. Growth usually isn't a sweeping thing. It happens incrementally. It occurs in tiny bursts and small steps. This is because when we are growing, we are actually expanding and restructuring our comfort zones. We are readjusting to a new way of life. And if we shock our systems with too much change too fast, we often revert back to what we knew. The most effective and healthy way to change your life is slowly. If you need instant gratification, make the goal the tiny step you take each day. Over time, momentum will build, and you'll realize that you're miles from where you started. Take triggers as signals, because your wounds need your attention. Triggers are not random. They are showing you where you are either most wounded or primed for growth.
Yep.
This is not a bad thing. If we can see these triggers as signals that are trying to help us put our attention towards some part of our lives that needs healing, health, and progress, we can actually begin to see them as helpful instead of hurtful. You cannot ignore your problems. You cannot disregard your wounds. These are issues that you will need to unpack, process, learn from, and adapt your behavior accordingly. This won't only make you mentally stronger, it will also give you a better life overall. Honor your discomfort because it's trying to tell you something. The greatest gift that life will hand you is discomfort. Discomfort is not trying to punish you. It is just trying to show you where you are capable of more, deserving of better, able to change, or meant for greater than you have right now. In almost every case, it is simply informing you that there is more out there for you.
Yep.
And it is pushing you to go pursue it.
It's like when you're in a bad relationship and when you think back on your relationship and there's more pain and heartache and suffering than there is joy and happiness and gratefulness, then you probably really are telling yourself, like, this is over. Well, I need to leave. I need stability. I need a positive relationship, not this, thing that just keeps hurting and hurting and hurting and hurting. Love isn't supposed to hurt. It's not always going to feel good either, but it's not supposed to hurt, not in that way.
Instead of trying to pacify this discomfort, mental strength requires that you listen, learn, and begin to change your course. If you can begin to see your life as a feedback mechanism that is reflecting who you are with the ultimate goal to help you live better and more fully, all of a sudden, you realize that it was never the world standing in your way, but your own mind. How to truly enjoy your life. If you were to ask, many people would undoubtedly agree that they believe the purpose of life is to enjoy it. However, so many people struggle to be present and actually experience their lives as they are. The culprits are very...
That's why you guys remember when I told you that this entire journey so far, if I have to wrap it up in a song, that song is going to be Keep Me in the Moment. And I played it for you guys so that you guys can hear what it is that I mean by that. We spend so much time just living in tomorrow, or yesterday, right? 6 weeks from now, or 6 years ago, or whatever. We're not living in right now. And I want to be in the moment more often than I am in the past or in the future.
And can include everything from unrealistic expectations to trying too hard to feel good. It is, after all, something you have to allow. When you're struggling, the most insulting and difficult thing that someone can tell you is to just relax or just enjoy yourself. When you're in survival mode, the last thing you can possibly think about is just sitting back and rolling with the punches. This is the most important part of learning how to enjoy your life again. When you're in a place of trauma and pain, you can't try to force yourself to be happy. First, you have to step back into neutral. When you're struggling and you try to make yourself feel good, you are actually intensifying the polarity of your feelings. You are shoving the bad feeling down in place of trying to feel something different. Ironically, Many people who struggle emotionally are, at their core, people who actually just have a greater desire to enjoy life. Stop trying to be happy. Happiness is not something you can chase. It is something you have to allow. This likely will come as a surprise to many people, as the world is so adamant about everything from positive psychology to motivational Pinterest boards. But happiness is not something you can coach yourself into. Happiness is your natural state. That means you will return to it on your own, if you allow the other feelings you want to experience to come up, be felt, be processed, and not resisted. The less you resist your unhappiness, the happier you will be. It is often just trying too hard to feel one certain way that sets us up for failure. Arrive into the present. There's a saying that if you're anxious, it's because you're living in the future. And if you're depressed, it's because you're living in the past. When you're living in the present moment, you realize that both the past and future are just current illusions in the infinite, eternal now, and that they are actually ways in which you can avoid being in your body. The only place to find happiness is in the present, because that's the only place it truly exists. Trying to find happiness by focusing on what could or might happen in the future is actually a process of disassociation. Practice arriving into today by focusing on taking life one day at a time and doing the most with what you have in front of you currently. There's a fine balance to be struck between living for the moment and taking care of your future self.
You know, for a long, long time, I didn't understand what I kept doing wrong when it would come to, losing weight, right? One day I realized I had this mentality. I'm a very all or nothing person, right? So if I messed up today, I would just say, screw it. I'll start again Monday. Start again next week. I'll start again at the beginning of the year. I'll start again next month, whatever. Because I already messed up. So I might as well just go in hard, right? To that downfall, to that mess up, to the downward spiral. And it wasn't until one day I realized I did something that I didn't intend to do. I did something I didn't want to do. I did something that isn't beneficial for me on this goal, in this health journey. But I don't need to start over. There is no starting over. It's just continuing on, right? So instead of starting over, instead of looking at this meal or this bad thing that I did as a need to restart, I just look at it like that bite wasn't right, but the next one could be. And now I try really hard. It doesn't always work, but I try really hard to live in the one bite at a time instead of one day at a time. I don't even take it one day at a time, because one day at a time, if I mess up in the morning, then the whole entire day is gone, right? If it's one day at a time. But if I take it one bite at a time, then the next bite could be the right bite. And then the next bite after that. And when I say the right bite, I mean things that make me feel good, right? Like physically feel good. Because when I eat cake, I don't feel good after. I feel good in the moment. I feel good right now, but later I don't feel good. It makes me feel unwell. And if the next bite is something that promotes me feeling well later, even if it's not right this moment, then that's the right bite.
And it is not only possible, it's how you're meant to live. Stop trying to assert dominance. In his book on hygge, the Danish art of coziness and well-being that many attribute to the nation's staggeringly high happiness rates, Mike Wicking explains that connecting with others is not just spending time with them. It has to do with not trying to dominate, impress, or create an emotional reaction in someone. Instead, you find a lot more happiness by not trying to prove yourself. People who want and need to assert their dominance in relationships are the ones who are always in arguments over hypothetical things, creating drama at important holidays or events, or otherwise finding that the very people they are supposed to love and cherish most receive the worst of their behavior. In order to find greater happiness, you need to see yourself as an equal to those around you. When you view yourself in a position to constantly learn from all those you know, you are no longer compensating for fearing you are beneath them. Lean into the little joys when you find them. When we think of trying to enjoy life, it's common for our minds to jump to trying to achieve things that are huge, overwhelming highs. We think that being happy is only what happens when we're on vacation or just landed a huge bonus.
Mm-hmm.
This, however, is actually the opposite of happiness because it's conditional.
Yep.
True happiness is actually embracing the little joys in life. The sunrise on a warm summer morning, your cup of coffee, or an amazing book. It is being grateful not only for when big things happen, but also for the small satisfactions that you can find every day. Most people severely overthink happiness. They assume their lives have to be in perfect working order for them to experience real joy. This is not so. Real joy is finding happiness where you are and how you are. Nurture positive relationships when you have them. Regardless of whether or not you are introverted or extroverted, the quality of your relationships determines the quality of your experience of life. Tons of research backs this up. We become most like the people we spend time with.
Yep.
And our happiness is directly correlated with not the quantity of relationships we have, but the quality of each of them.
Yep.
Being lonely is as much of a risk to your health as smoking. However, what most people interpret this to mean is that they should just make friends where they can find them and be close to their biological family, even if they dislike them. That's totally missing the point. Happiness is not contingent upon you forcing relationships you don't want to be in. It is, however, contingent upon you building and fostering relationships with people you already like. When you have someone with whom you really have a connection, go out of your way to make sure you see that person and keep your friendship healthy.
Yep.
Learn something new as often as you can. When you approach life as though you already know all there is to know, you are actually closing yourself off to potentially having new and better experiences.
Yep.
If you assume that you know what will happen when you try something new, or if you think you know what places you haven't been to would be like, you might just want to leave some room to surprise yourself. Think of life as something you can constantly learn from. Your pain teaches you what does not feel good and what you should not continue to do.
And that is exactly how I am now looking at food. I know that I often say like, oh, that's bad for me, right? And what I mean by that is because it doesn't make me feel good. It makes me feel unwell later. And some people take that to mean, like food having some sort of moral compass, right? And however you choose to look at that, I look at it like it's bad for me because it makes me feel not good. I don't feel good after. Mentally, emotionally, physically, I don't feel well. So why would I continue to eat something that makes me feel that way? But for some reason, I continue to go back to relationships, like not just like romantic relationships, right? But I'm talking about like friendships or acquaintanceships or, coworkers or whatever that make me feel unwell most of the time. Why do I do that? I don't know. I have this real sense of like loyalty to people. And I feel like a rat fink whenever I cannot continue in that relationship, even if they are not healthy for me.
Your joy teaches you what does feel good and is in alignment. Everything can be your teacher. And the more you allow your life experiences to shift and change you, the better you and they will become.
Mm-hmm.
See challenging times as opportunities for transformation. Happy people aren't joyful all the time, and this is an important distinction to make. In fact, genuinely happy people are more at peace than they are ecstatic about everything they experience.
Mm-hmm.
This is because happy people are inherently coachable and changeable. They are not stuck in their ways. They understand that life requires growth, and when that growth stagnates, discomfort begins to arise.
I think it's Tony Robbins who I first heard say this. Once you stop growing, once you stop learning, once you stop developing, then that's the moment you begin to die, right? Because we are inherently created to continue to grow. If you had a plant and it no longer grows any bigger, it stays the same size all the time, do you really think that plant is thriving? Do you really think it's living? Or do you think it's just the beginning of its death?
The true nature of life is constant movement and constant evolution. If you do not keep up with that, life will all but force you to change as it becomes less and less comfortable to stay where you are.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot avoid all pain, but you can absolutely avoid a lot of suffering by staying focused on your internal growth. Be aware of what you give your energy to. Sure, most people realize that if they work a job they dislike or stay in relationships they despise for the majority of their lives, they aren't going to feel great about it. What many don't realize, however, is that there are far more significant things that we constantly offer our energy to that create the quality of our lives. Those disliked jobs and stale relationships aren't problems, they are symptoms. And at the root of all of it is where you allow your mind to run.
Mm-hmm.
When you give your energy to certain thoughts, they gain life. There's a saying that the wolf that wins is the one that you feed. And when it comes to the quality of your life, you need to be extremely careful of what you allow yourself to think. It will soon become what you feel, then what you believe, and then how you behave, and sure enough, the way you live.
Yep.
Schedule time to do nothing. Happiness is an active pursuit as much as it is a passive one. Though to feel fulfilled each day is absolutely a conscious choice. It isn't going to happen by accident, FYI. The irony of really feeling good is that it's not something you can force. It's something you have to allow. Happiness is refusing to fill your schedule to the absolute brim so you can wring the most you possibly can out of every second of your life.
Mm-hmm.
It is also taking time to embrace the mundanity of everyday moments. It's sitting back and reading a book, talking over dinner with someone you love, or just enjoying the small things each day. Taking this time won't happen on its own. You have to plan for it.
Mm-hmm.
Schedule time to play. When we were kids, all we did was imagine and play. Our brains were our canvases, and we
Mhm.
inherently understood that we could make believe absolutely anything and spend the day living it out. The same is true in adulthood, but over the course of a few decades, the world tends to have a way of beating the magic out of you. If you really want to enjoy life, you have to make time to do what you loved when you were young. Paint, play in the sand, play games you love, and be creative for the sake of it. If that all sounds childish, good. It means you're ready to reconcile with your inner child, who, by the way, is and always has been there all along. Enjoying life is living it out in both the simplest and most transformative ways possible. Part of that is simply letting yourself show up and be who and how you are.
Mm-hmm.
Becoming a master of yourself. When you get to the end of your life, you will begin to see your mountains for what they really were. Gifts. When you look back on your life, you won't remember the hardships. You'll see them then as pivot points, growth opportunities, the days of awakening right before everything changed. To become a master of oneself is first to take radical and complete responsibility for your life. This includes even that which is beyond your control. A true master knows that it is not what happens, but the way one responds that determines the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Mastery is to understand that not everybody gets there. Most people live barely realizing that they are creating most of the waves in their lives, and that it is also their job to learn to ride them. Most people spend their days lost in a fog of their own thoughts and feelings, having little ability to sort through them. Mastery is to realize that we are equipped with the exact traits we need to overcome the mountains before us, and in fact, doing so is the ultimate calling of our lives. We are not only capable, we are destined. Mastery is to finally understand that the years of discomfort you endured were not some sort of purgatory you had to just get through. They were your deepest inner self, informing you that you are capable of more, deserving of better, and meant to transform into the person of your dreams. You are not only meant to have the life you want, you must claim it. You must create it. Your own healing process will create an invisible ripple effect on the collective. If we want to change the world, we change ourselves. If we want to change our lives, we change ourselves. If we want to scale the greatest mountains before us, we change how we arrive at the path. When you reach the peak of it all, whatever that may be for you, you will look back at the path behind you and know that every step was worth it. More than anything, you will be overwhelmingly grateful for the pain that led you to begin your journey. Because really, it wasn't trying to hurt you as much as it was trying to show you that something was wrong. That something was the risk of your potential remaining untapped. Your life spent with the wrong people, doing the wrong things, and wondering why you never felt quite right.
Mm-hmm.
Your life is just beginning. Your story has just begun. One day, the mountain that was in front of you will be so far behind you, it will barely be visible in the distance. But who you become in learning to climb it, that will stay with you forever. That is the point of the mountain. We hope you've enjoyed this production of The Mountain Is You.
I was going through my journal from when I first read this book in therapy. Let's see. I wrote the date down. No, I lost it. I saw the date in here. Oh. April 13th, 2023. I don't know if you can see that. April 13th, 2023. So that's how long ago I first read it. But one thing that I wrote down is that one thing that I got from this book, even back then, and I still feel this way, is one thing that I'm trying to take from it is to ride the waves of my feelings and not to let the waves push me around. And I've been letting the waves push me around my whole life. But I'm trying really, really hard to no longer do that. Another thing that I got from it was that we store unfinished and unresolved emotional experiences within our bodies. And just because an experience has ended doesn't mean it's over. Those things hit me really hard. They hit me so hard I wrote it down. You know what I mean? And I still have it to this day. Years later, I can still see it. And I feel like it just, I don't know, like it spoke so much to me that all these years later, I still go back and read it again. I still go back and, you know, just see if I get new things from it, which I do all the time. Every time I reread it, I get something new. But I think it's just, I don't know. I think it's just something that is part of life, is growing, even if it's uncomfortable. And back in April of 2003 or 23, I wrote 2003, but I meant 23. Somebody asked me what was my goal in starting a channel. And I've told you guys this before, that I don't have real life human like support because I don't live somewhere where I have friends and family, right? So I wanted to see if that support could be found here. But outside of that, when I really sat there and thought about it, I wrote it down. I wanted to do this channel for the girl who never felt love, appreciation, or worthy. Because I do believe that you are worthy. And I do feel that way. And that's why I'm here. And that's why I do what I do. And I don't know if you can see that, but that's what I wrote. And I wrote that in 2023. And I still feel that way in almost 2026. And I hope that you guys got some things out of this book that will help you to continue to heal, that will help you in your own journeys, and will help you for years to come. I got I got candy for trick-or-treating. Man, I don't have to hide it from myself. I have to hide it from my dad. That's funny. I'm on my intentional walk for the day, but listening. Hi, sunshine. I wanted to go for a walk, but let me see. I don't know if you guys can hear this, but hold on. I don't think you could tell. Can you tell just how freaking dark? Wait, wrong way. No, you can't tell. Huh? It's so gray outside. It's insane how gray it is out there. It is some really ugly clouds out there. But I'm super glad to hear that you were on your intentional walk. That's awesome. We love walking. Around here, that's my favorite thing to do. You know, when I get over the I don't want to do it part. And yes, Felicia, I'm glad that she said that I'm glad that scheduling time to do nothing is healthy. It is, as long as you're not scheduling it all day, every day. As long as it's, you know, intentional and not just keeps happening, then it is very, very healthy. What's up, Muffin? You see this poopy weather? Want to come say hi?
How's it going, guys?
Hello. Yes, Felicia, and my dad's on Manjaro. He's always like, "Where'd you hide the cookies?" That's funny. What's wrong? What are you eating? I smell candy. I knew I smelled candy. You hit your elbow? Aw, you okay?
Yeah, I'm trying to feel better. I'm trying to get up. I don't want to sleep down, but I want to enjoy the weekend.
Well, then what are we gonna do for dinner?
We'll figure
He
it out.
wanted meatloaf.
I don't plan on the store right now. But if we want to, we can go.
You need to tell me if we are gonna cook or if you're gonna get something.
Probably cook.
Okay, so what do you want to make? Well, what does he want me to make?
Let me see what we got.
Okay. They said hi, David.
I'm back.
He said hi. My dad and your dad would be best buddies. They would be all up in the cookie jar.
Let me try this one.
Okay, but with what?
Maybe go to the store in a minute.
He wants
I have to
meatloaf.
be done with that.
Okay, well, I'm gonna be wrapping up right now.
Okay, we'll go to the store.
Okay.
Hamburger meat,
Okay.
and we'll make meatloaf.
Okay. Carne molida it is. So we are gonna make meatloaf. Well, I'm gonna make meatloaf. I feel bad, Felicia. Like, let me turn off my candle because it smells like cinnamon, and I don't want to give you a migraine, even though you can't smell it. It doesn't smell that cinnamony, but
This one's good, right?
the
Yeah, vitamin C. Spike.
yeah, the ting.
I'm gonna put some in my water bottle.
Go ahead.
It's a whole new box.
Yummy meatloaf. I love meatloaf, and I do make a good meatloaf if I do say so myself. But yeah, I hope you guys got some real insight on your own behaviors and what it is that you would like to change or that you actually appreciate about yourself. Because I did find some things. Oh, you suffer from migraines too? I'm so sorry, Sunshine. Oh, goodness gracious. Why has everybody got migraines, man? They stink. I hate them. Migraines are the worst. And I really truly know how you feel. So I hate the thought of giving it to anybody. I'm on Ubrevely for it's my abort pill. But I kept the needle up here. Yeah. Dang, did you hear that? I kept the needle up here because I don't know why. I think because I was talking about it one day. I don't know what happened to it, but yeah, I now take a once monthly injection, and it feels like it's actually working for me today or this month. I'm here listening. My nephews are in robotics today, and we were watching online. Oh, how fun! Well, hold on, guys. Let's see. Oh, I don't think you guys can see. Do you see the rain coming down now? Yep. Do you see that? How much darker it got out there. And the camera picks up a lot of artificial light. Like, it creates a lot of light because it's created to be like in low light mode. So it automatically brightens everything up, but it's really ugly out there. Flash of lightning. Appointment scheduled with the migraine specialist on. Oh, that's awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. I hope it helps you. I'm very sorry because migraines suck. They suck a lot. I'm hoping that they will give me Botox for it. But right now, my insurance originally said I needed to be on the injectable, the once monthly injectable for at least 3 months. And then they changed it to 6 months. And now they're saying a year. But we'll see. We'll go from there. So I do hope that you find some relief because that is definitely not fun. Please remember to report back and let us know how that goes because I'm interested. I'm interested in hearing about your healing, and I do hope that works out for you. I'm not allowed to take triptans. Didn't work for me anyways, but you hear it? It's getting louder and louder, and the window's getting more wet. And this window is underneath a giant tree. So it doesn't get as wet as like the other side of the house. If they offer Botox injections, Sunshine, I highly recommend them. Yes, Nicole is also a fellow migraine sufferer, and she is who convinced me to seek them out because I was scared of it, so I didn't want to. But my doctor has said that these once monthly injections can take 3 full months to fully build up within your body, and then by your 4th injection, you should feel like the relief that you're going to get from it if you're going to get from it. But I went from having, I'm not sure how long you've been around, but if you haven't been around long, you don't know that I have gone from getting about 25 plus migraines every single month, which is almost the entire month, every single month for months and months and months. I had a period where I first started getting migraines that I can remember around 10, 11. Which is, I started my period when I was 9, so it makes sense. And then they just stopped when I was like maybe 25, and they stopped all the way until about until I got COVID. So in 2020, they came back, and they would come back and come back and come back. And then suddenly this last year, I would say, they've just been the worst that they've ever been. And it's absolutely flipping terrible. I will get it with or without insurance. I don't blame you. For me, I was taking a prophylactic every day and it just wasn't working for me anymore. So they switched me to the once monthly injectable. And then once I started doing that the first month, because this has only been my 2nd month, I took my 2nd injection on the 4th of October. I'm perimenopausal too. So they did talk about how hormones play a big role in it, and that could be why I started so early. And you're getting 4 to 8 a month that last 2 days in a row. I'm so sorry to hear that. I don't think Botox is recommended for people who get less than 15 a month. Just keep that in mind when you talk to your doctor about it. 15 plus a month. Okay. Even the Botox website, for migraines, which reminds me, you can go and download, but you go to the Botox website and it'll give you like this tracker. Then you could you get it for click medical conditions, right? Or you can even type in Botox for migraines. And then when you do that, it'll bring you to this website. And then you can put in your phone number, and then it'll send you a message every single day to fill out a log. Every day it'll ask you like 3 or 4 questions. Did you get a migraine today? If you got a migraine, did it last 4 or more hours? Did you have any other symptoms? And then, it has to be 15 plus a month. Remember that when you talk to your doctor, okay? 15 plus migraines a month. Sorry to such a drag. Oh, no, don't worry. Please don't worry about it. But I really highly recommend that tracker because it helps you to remember instead of just being like, oh, I think it's this much. I think it's that much. And then you could, when you go to the doctor, it even has like a downloadable thing that they can just look and see, like it'll show every day that you had a migraine and the days that you didn't. I get more, but mild enough to work. Yeah. I heard you say you get 15 plus a month that are very, very difficult to deal with, and Botox would be a good option for you. That's what I heard you say. Yes. You do have to count those too. You have to count even the minor migraines, but I would not clarify them because insurance companies can be poopy heads. That's the only reason why I suggest that. Because of that, do not countify them as other than migraines. They are migraines. And they last 4 more hours. And you get 15 plus a month. I hope I'm making sense. But for me, so far, they're not giving them to me. And I can't afford to pay for them. So I am using the monthly injection right now, along with the abort pill. But it just really helped me a lot. And I hope that they continue to help. I have read out there that some people will get, because I'm on the first generation of it, which is called the Jovi. There's 2 generations. There's a Jovi and another one that I can't remember the name of that are the first generation. The second generation is Emaglity. And that one is like the last resort, right? So my doctor wanted me to start on this one first and see if I get some relief, and then use it as long as it gives me relief, so long as it does, and then move over to the next one if I needed to, because there's nowhere to go once you get on Emaglity. There's nothing, there's nowhere to go from there. But if I start on Jovi first, there is one more thing that I can do, at least while we wait for, say, a 3rd generation to come out, right? So maybe you can even broach that subject if your insurance refuses to pay for Botox the way that mine is refusing right now. And I'll be honest with you, I really have had a lot of relief from it. I know some people haven't. I know my aunt told me that she also has something called migrainosis. So basically it's a constant throbbing in the head. It never goes away. And she said Jovi didn't do anything for her, but Emaglity does work for her. She said even Botox stopped working. So I'm like, I need to find something that's going to be long-term for me, and fingers crossed that this works. And if it doesn't work, that they work together. I don't know. We'll go from there. But you guys, the storm is getting pretty bad. So we're going to have to go out there and go get our food to cook. And I will definitely see you guys soon. Remember, we are going to be starting Let Them. Felicia, are we going to do it? Actually, you guys, do you guys want to start it next Saturday or the following Saturday? And then I'll do 1 week. Felicia will do the next week, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Yes, also one thing I do, I know not everybody does this, but one thing I do is in my notes app, right? I keep, I keep notes for every specialist that I see. And I have one in here for my neurologist for my migraines, because I only see them for migraines. And then I keep them in here so that I do not forget anything when I'm there. Because if you just try to go off of memory, or you wrote it down, but you don't take it and literally read it as you're there, you can forget things. And it is not easy to get appointments with neurologists or any specialists. So I do that with every single specialist. So just hopefully that'll help you. If you have, Nicole writes it down on a physical piece of paper, but she also takes that physical piece of paper with her. If that works for you, great. Whatever works for you, great. But the key is to remember to bring things up. And we don't always remember, especially when we're in the middle of the conversation, we kind of forget things and we don't remember till we get home. And then we have to wait until we come back to address it. So just remember those things. And that'll help. Hopefully that'll help you to remember to address everything that you need to address, and then go from there. Also, if you get Aura, I get Aura. I don't know if you heard me talking about it, but Aura is basically where you get vision changes. So you'll see spots, or you'll see like kaleidoscope-like images. You get double vision, blurry vision, those kinds of things. Like your vision is like impacted by the neurological changes that are happening in the beginning of a migraine. Sometimes, most people get in the beginning. They can last all the way through the migraine and even a day or two after. But most people, it's recognized that it really just happens before. Not mine though. If you have that, also bring those up, because I was just told, and this is the first time I've ever been told this, and now I'm doing research on it, and it is something that you should address with them. is if you get aura, migraines with aura, then triptans are not recommended because they can increase, you are at increased risk for strokes getting aura with your migraines. So triptans exacerbate that risk. So please make sure that you address that with your doctor, because you shouldn't be on triptans because it does increase your risk. Not saying that you're going to have a stroke, but it could increase. You are already at an increased risk with the aura. And then if you are taking triptans, that can exacerbate that risk. So please be very, very careful. But I hope you guys have an amazing day. And yeah, I'm hopefully going to get some sleep tonight and no more outages so that I can go to work tomorrow, because we need to make some money. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, see, I didn't know that either. My neurologist told me that. And so I told Nicole that, because I know she also gets aura and she's on triptans too. And I mean, I've taken them before, but they didn't work for me. So I quickly moved on. So, but just be aware, because I wasn't aware and no doctor had ever told me that before. And then this neurologist was the first one who had ever told me. But this is also the first time I've ever seen a neurologist for it. And then I looked it up and it's true. Well, why would he lie to me? But you never know. But I hope you guys have a great day and I'll see you soon. I'm going to give you digital hugs. And I hope that there are no migraines in sight for any of you. Have a great day, everyone. Wait, how do I get out of here? I don't even remember how to. It's this. Okay. When I have this under the thing, I can't get to it. But bye.